right, so welcome back. We're getting ready for round 2 here to start. Everyone's kind of still moseying their tables. We haven't quite officially launched the round yet, but pairings are live. We got players moving around. Everyone just got back from lunch. I'm Mike Vaginas here, taking over for a little bit to get the round 2 streaming started. We've got Emma grabbing her lunch as well, so kind of one team, one dream kind of scenario over here. And just wanted to walk you through, guys. We're getting ready to play Geomantic Pulse, and we have a matchup in store for you. It is Jason Acosta playing Sons of Behemoth with Breaker Tribe against Liho Ratutin playing, let's see, we've got Soulblight Legion of the Night with Big Daddy Nagash. So let's go through some of these lists and walk through the players. Leo is actually a Team Finland Worlds player who lives local in DC, so this is kind of his backyard, yet I got a chance to meet him at Worlds this past year in Amsterdam for the first time. Great dude, great player. I'm really excited to see what kind of puts out here with Nagash. His army is also very cool. So we've got Legion Knight, Spellcasting Savant as a grand strategy. Looks like he took a General Vampire Lord to be his, oh my goodness, sorry, the Andy Wizards, who's got Unbending Will as a command trait and Hoarfrost. He's got another Vampire Lord on foot with the Morbeg's Claw and then Merciless Blizzard. And then, of course, Nagash himself is the Lore Master, knows all the spells. We've got 40 zombies, 20 zombies, 6 Fellbats, 3 Fellbats, Corpse Cart, Spell Portal, Maelstrom, and Suffocating Gravetide, all in a one-drop, 2,000 points on the button. So really kind of looking at just take advantage of Nagash's central piece, really trying to make sure he moves up, kind of controlling the board. Meanwhile, just letting the value of the Vampire Lords on foot just kind of really take advantage of some engagement issues later on. Meanwhile, we've got our Sons of Behemoth player in a Breaker Tribe. Grand strategies: Brod's Revenge, Bloodthirsty Triumph. He's got his Fierce Loathing is Bossy Pants and Clever Clogs. Gatebreaker, King Brod, 3 separate Man Crushers as battle line with Foot Slogs and Bosses of the Stomp. Coming in at 60 points under, so he will get his Triumph for Bloodthirsty, so free reroll throughout the game. King Brod is in the list, adds a little bit of toolbox elements, being a priest, has some really great prayers to have access to. Really looking forward to see if he can manage that grand strategy as well. Nagash will have his work cut out for him. We'll take a look there. So in Geomantic Pulse, this is definitely going to be a controlled style game. People are going to want to really dictate the pace of the scoring. Giants can do that really well. Zombies and bodies can do that equally as well. So this is definitely going to be a bit of a longer game, in my opinion. You're not going to have a quick race and lead ahead without the momentum shifting as that pulse kind of travels across the board. So hopefully we'll get this interesting matchup here started very shortly, and we will chime in when we got some more action to talk. And Nick Garcia's in the chat. Hey, great to have you. Oh yeah, Nova FOMO's real, buddy. It's everywhere. I get that. I'm usually the same way. If I can't be there, I love watching it. So. All right. So as we still wait for the players, we've kind of gone through some of the lists here a little bit. We've got Emma joining me here. Looks like she was able to kind of grab some lunch, so she won't have to, die on camera. This is great. Emma, great to have you.
I can't go through that again.
No, I don't blame you.
Only so many times you can resuscitate me in an event.
Yeah. Kind of walk through the matchup. We got some Gatebreakers in Broad with a couple babies, and Nagash and some zombies. Again, this interesting scoring will make for a dynamic game, I like. 3 babies. 3
Okay.
3 individuals. King Broad, 2 Gatebreakers.
Oh, the Arcane Tome.
Yeah, so we got an Arcane Tome and 1 Gatebreaker. We got the Glowy Shield of Protectiness is the technical term on the other one.
Which one's that?
I believe that's just a 6-up ward. So should be pretty good there. Monstrously Tough, I believe, is the extra wounds. So
Yes, it's like an extra 5 wounds.
yeah, so between that, so like you've got that Gatebreaker rocking 40 wounds, you got King Broad rocking 40 wounds, so like he's trying to be as dense as he can. Geomantic Pulse is going to be
Gargan fighters love being dense.
yeah, that came out pretty good. And with Geomantic Pulse, again, this is going to be an interesting matchup because I think the true winner is going to be whoever can plan the furthest ahead. Because, like I said, even if one player, whether it be the Gargants or the Zombies, can gain control of the Pulse early, that's not going to be enough to win them the game in the long run. They're going to have to basically shift sides on the board. So it'll be really interesting to see who can just maintain a battle tactic, par for the course type strategy while minimizing their opponent's advance across the board. right.
Some familiar names in chat. Already.
Yeah, it's exciting. Everyone's got FOMO, which is pretty relatable. It's understandable.
Look, some people might have had FOMO yesterday. I said get down here to Washington, D.C. They were still able to get in
Yeah.
before round one.
Good.
But if you're still feeling left out, 20 events left in the year.
Yeah.
I think the next huge event I'm going to is probably Everwinter in December up in Boston.
That's a great event. Corey McKinney, the whole Everwinter crew, all the Wicked Dicey guys up there, they run a great show.
There's also Du Bois happening in upstate New York in November.
Another good
Same
one.
weekend as the GW finale.
That's right. So if you feel like you're having FOMO that you didn't quite get a golden ticket, come on up to Du Bois in Rochester, New York, and get a great game against what traditionally is a very, very great field of players, and yet everyone is also having a great time. So it's a real fun dichotomy in the room.
Yeah, it's weirdly you go to the event and there's so many heavy hitters. It's one of those fun events.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's like it used to be the best 32-man event on the East Coast, in my opinion, because it was cool. Here's 32 players. Oh wait, 28 of them have all won GTs in the past 3 months. It is some stiff competition. So, but cool, Emma. Now that you're back, I'm gonna go run out, do some judging, get the kind of players running. I'm gonna turn it back over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah, no problem.
Getting things started here. We're gonna have Sons of Bahamut, the Mega Gargants, versus the man, the myth, the legend, Leo Routinen, running a Nagash list. I know Leo's been having quite a bit of success with Nagash lately. Curious to see how he plays this army.
They're just deploying their ghost models, it's fine.
So hopefully everybody's enjoying the coverage. We did have 4 games streamed yesterday. It was a 4-round invitational featuring 16 very high-level players from around not just the U.S., but we also had some international representation from Europe, like B. Owen Jackson and Matt Mallow, both participating in this GT as well. There is quite a bit of OBR, Soulblight, and Seraphon here, probably making up over a third of the crowd. At least, I think it was about 45, 50 of the list out of the 160 something were OBR, Soulblight, and Seraphon. So we're likely going to see a lot of them make it in the top 8. So our final couple streams will most likely feature some of them. Actually pulling in a Soulblight match here with Leo, just because he's shaking things up with Nagash. We gotta find out what is it about Nagash that he loves. It was an absolute pleasure being able to cast that game yesterday between Caleb and Matt Mallow.
Emma, they're coming. Hey.
Okay. Did have a little bit of a mix-up. Players might not have been informed that they were the stream game, so they're starting to move over to the table. Happy that they're willing to, after they were starting to get set up at their other table, they'll be moving over shortly. Luckily, we do have this table set up. Mission's already laid out. So, a little bit of a break. I'm going to see if I can pull somebody in for an interview, since we'll be waiting on these players. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, I am back. Players are just getting situated at table, looking at each other's list again. It's going to be Sons of Bahamut with Jason Fazlet versus Leo Routinen, formerly of the UK, now residing over in the States for a bit. It's going to be a Soulblight list, but a little different from what we're going to see from the rest of the competition, because he's running the Supreme Lord of the Dead, Nagash himself, the Bone Daddy. So we got a Gargant list, including King Rod, but with 3 little baby man crushers. It's going to be interesting what Leo does to kind of dissect this. It's True Magic Pulse, so it's 4 objectives along the center. And we'll see if the Gargants do too much, like too many bodies on those objectives for Leo to effectively score any points. Or if Leo's able to take advantage of his bodies, and if Nagash can really do enough damage to take down these Gargants. So this is round 2 of coverage coming. We'll also be streaming round 3 today. Trying to bring you some interesting list, some new spice before we likely get into the later rounds and just run into things like OBR, zombie spam. We had the Invitational yesterday, so a lot of top players were already featured on that. And we also want to give them a little bit of break from any stream pressure, because we will be streaming those final 3 games from the top 8. So round 6 on Saturday night, as well as round 7, and the final round 8 will be the best of the best, the cream of the crop, the top dogs.
They're all gonna hang out.
So the Gargant player does have an Arcane Tome on one of his Gargants here. So that's there to cast his Mystic Shield. Don't think he's going to quite get it off against Nagash's +3 to Unbind. Nagash, I think, is going to reign supreme with all of his casting and Unbinds here. Nagash with 8 casts a turn, starting at +3 to cast. But hopefully everybody is enjoying the coverage so far. We have the legendary Garrett Thomas over by us, who looks like he's a little too busy to pull into an interview, but would love to get some words from him at some point. As somebody from overseas, I wonder if he knows Leo, if he's very familiar with this Leo Routinen menace, bringing Nagash. Maybe we'll get some words in later from the Welsh Warrior. over 160 players here playing in this GT. There's about 20 of them that you could put on a list to take the entire event. We have no idea who could possibly win, although I think everybody's favorite to win right now is Tom Guan, who is yet to be defeated with a zombie spam. So that's the big question on everybody's mind right now. Who can stop the zombie menace? Both players still getting situated. We'll have grace lights going down. Definitely not any terrain for Sons of Bahamut. But just getting comfortable, making sure you have any tokens you need, your dice are where you want them, measuring sticks, score sheets. Leo at the top of the screen. He's currently measuring, putting his grave sites down. Soulblight Gravelord's able to put units in reserve in the grave. They come up at the end of his movement phase, and if one of his summonable units dies, he can bring them back at half strength, only within 12 of those grave sites.
Round two, baby. I just don't see this going.
So, this is Scooter walking by, joking with his opponent. Round two, baby. It's not only round two of this GT, but Scooter and his opponent Isaiah played round one of the Invitational, and now round two here have already rematched. So, at least Scooter took the win yesterday, but we'll see if his opponent's able to take the win off him and even their record here. Sun's already marking out his territory for his deployment zone. So our Sun's Bahamut running Broad's Revenge for his Grand Strat. He does include King Broad. So if he's picked each of the 3 effects of his Power Bahamut prayer to apply at least once during the battle, he'll be able to complete his Grand Strat, which could get shut down, especially if King Broad dies early to Nagash. He's got 2 Great Breakers, King Broad, and then 3 individual Man Crushers at 1940. So he's got 60 point for a Triumph bid, going for that Bloodthirsty to reroll charges. That's his opponent, Leo Routinen. Not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but I'm sure he'll have some words with me afterwards. Legion of Night. His grand strat is spellcasting savant, so he's got a Vampire Lord as his general, so he needs to keep that Vampire Lord alive. Legion of Night, pretty simple to do because there's a heroic action Legion of Night that if you're not in combat, you can just teleport anywhere on the board 9 inches, at least 9 inches away from enemy models. So he's going to be sneaking around, and he's got Nagash and 2 Vampire Lords in there. So the second Vampire Lord in there is that fancy tech where he's able to heroic action to teleport it. It's got Morbig's Claw, so he gives himself +2 to casting, and then he hits you with the Merciless Blizzard to potentially put 4d6 mortal wounds out. And then the rest of his list is 40 Deadwalker zombies in 1 unit, a 20 Deadwalker zombie unit, and he's selected for 6 Felbats, 3 Felbats, and a Corpse Cart, fitting all of that into 1 battle regiment for a 1-drop. So the Corpse Cart is going to provide more +1 to casting, so potentially getting that Vampire Lord up to a +3 on Merciless Blizzard. He's also taking 3 endless spells. So we've got the Umbral Spell Portal to extend the range of some spells, Malevolent Maelstrom to effectively trigger even more mortal wounds in AoE, and then also Suffocating Gravetide, which it's great against Horde units, not so great against Gargants, but the Suffocating Gravetide has such a large base that he could use it to effectively kind of screen off an area to prevent a Gargant from charging in, especially since his opponent only has 2 Unbinds, because he's got the Arcane Tome on a Gatebreaker, and then he's got King Broad as a priest and can try to dispel an endless spell. So we'll likely see Routinen using these endless spells to kind of screen off whether the Gargants can get. Gargants do have this aura of terror, so if you're in combat with the Mega Gargants, you cannot use Inspiring Presence, which is very effective versus these zombie hordes. We have a 10-up Bravery, but if you were to kill at least 10 of them, you're going to force a Battle Shock there. And he'll potentially lose another d6 or more. This Legion of Night list is also very effective against other lists with a lot of Antorian Locust, which are small wizards. Because if you cast the Spirit Gale off on an unmodified 9+, it would do 2 mortal wounds to everything on the table, and then you can potentially combo that with the Maelstrom, which will do a flat 3 mortal wounds to wizards, and you can effectively hit 5 mortal wounds on multiple wizards in one go. Those tools not as effective versus Gargants, so a lot of the tools in his kit are being shut down by the fact that there's only 6 models on the other end of the table, and 2 of them have 40 wounds each. So, there you see Leo getting his bats out. Maybe we'll call him the Batman. Looks like Leo's already starting his deployment. He's got his big block of 40 zombies on the line with a Corpse Cart behind it. Nagash as well. Nagash, 18 wounds, if I recall, on a 3-up save. He gives everything holy within 12 of them a 5-up word. So the zombies are going to be 80 wounds, or 40 wounds on a 5-up word. And if that entire block dies, he'll be able to bring back 20 of them. So 40 zombies, potentially more durable than a King Broad right there. Hope everyone's enjoying the coverage so far. Anybody has any questions, please feel free to shoot them in chat. Please ask for any updates. Let me know. Lists are in Best Coast Pairings, the BCP app. You can also follow all of the results there. Another table, we do have the legendary Bread from Tough Crowd facing off in a rematch from this round 5 of NashCon against Nick True's OBR. Our head judge, James O'Brien, has been doing tremendous work keeping everything going here and on time. Leo's still setting up his deployment. We're going to put some bats on the table. Don't think he's going to look to put much in reserve. The spell bats can move quite a bit. Probably would just put 20 zombies in the grave, if anything. He is castled up behind 40 zombies. You can see there's 2 Vampire Lords with a Corpse Cart and a Gash on either side of them. Also, using the terrain to his advantage, Gargants have kind of some deceptive shooting. At first, you would think they don't have a lot of shooting, because they're just Gargants, you know, just lumbering forward. But they do throw a bunch of boulders and rocks that can do like 4 flat damage, D3 damage. And those bats are only 3 wounds each. Not the best of saves either, so Leo taking that into account, hiding the 6-man unit of bats behind that building at the top of your screen, which is going to block line of sight to them. Putting that other 3-man unit in that ruins at the top right to give them cover, so they'll have +1 to their save. And also hopefully far back enough that they won't just get shot off quick. And Jason putting a single man crusher on either side, which is going to help him set up for a battle tactic later on, for the surrounded destroy, to have a unit wholly within 6 of 3 different table edges, 2 of them outside of your territory. Now determining where he's going to put the other 3 big oafs. And then I'll get an update once he's done deploying as to which one's King Broad. It looks like he's the one on the right with the giant hammer. Those large Mega Gargants are counting as 20 on an objective each, and their might makes right. I think Broad might count as more, but I will double check that one. So King Broad himself counts as 25 at full health on an objective, and then the Gatebreakers, those count as 20 each while they're on an objective. Man Crusher Gargants being monsters, counting as 5. Nagash, a monster himself on Leo's side, counts as 5, but otherwise just a lot of individual zombies just counting as one each. So we'll see if Jason decides to take advantage of that, in that Leo just doesn't have the bodies to contest enough objectives. So if he's able to put a Gargant on 3 different objectives, then Leo's going to have a really hard time just even getting one of those objectives off him, because he's going to have to commit pretty much the entire zombie block to one objective. And he's not going to have any other additional resources to put on those other ones. He does have 20 zombies in the grave. Each of those gate breakers do have hurled boulders with an 18-inch range. It's just a single attack, but it does do 4 damage with Ren 3, so that's even enough to start putting wounds on the gash too if you can get in range. The Man Crusher Gargants themselves have an 18-inch shooting attack, just one shot, throwing rocks at Ren 1 D3 damage. Here we go. We're getting into it.
Leo was a 1-drop, so he has the choice of
Who's taking top? And it looks like he has given it the Sons of Behemoth, which is a good choice.
effectively said, you know, I'm so far out of range, you're not going to accomplish anything if you go first other than to score your points. He doesn't want to engage into this Sun's army and give Suns a chance to double turn it back. So his opponent
Gone for magical dominance. Likely just a throwaway battle tactic. Because magical dominance, you have to kill something with spells. Doesn't quite have any spells. It does mean Leo going second does get to get 2 spell casts with one of his Vampire Lords. Looks like he has already heroic action to teleport one of those Vampire Lords away. Does have Mystic Shield that he can cast with his one Gargant, who's going to be out of Unbind range. And King Broad able to do a prayer. He is a priest. He's got 3 different War Scroll prayers that are unique that he can do once per game. His Grand tries to do each of those once. And then he can also even just throw out a Bless, a generic prayer that priests can do to give something a 6-up ward save. So likely just going to be a minimal scoring turn here. Into the movement phase, just moving these Man Crushers up. We're not really going to see a whole lot accomplished out of this turn. These Gargants are so far back because he knows that if Nagash gets a double turn, he can do quite a bit of damage. Nagash gets 8 spells a turn. He can just machine gun out spells, put out a lot of debuffs. Most of the Soul Blight spells are more of debuffs in nature, so you can put out -1 to wound rolls, -1 to damage for melee with Waste Away. You can Fading Vigor to subtract 1 from all your attack profiles. He's got Soul Pike that he can put on something, so when it charges, he has to roll a number of dice equal to that charge value, and so for every
4 up, gets to do mortal wounds. So, Spellor's very, very defensive in nature. Who's playing? Great question. At the bottom of the screen, we've got Jason Acosta. I am not familiar with this player, but he did win his first game. He's running Sons of Bahamut. He's got a King Broad all the way to the right of the screen, 2 Gate Breakers, which are moving up to that one objective. He's got 3 Man Crushers, one of which on each side of the screen, and then the one which is still at the bottom and middle. He's playing against the legendary Leo Routinen, who used to reside over in the UK and has, I think recently in the past year, moved to the United States. He's been playing a lot in the US events. And Leo just loves just doing his own thing. He's played a lot with Nagash in the past, and he is running a Nagash list in Legion of Night. Probably the most unique Soulblight list that's here. Mostly because it's not Mirkos. So, definitely wanted to see what he's doing with Nagash. How he plays this, what makes it work. Because I think he's come close to a 5-0 with this before. He might have. I might have missed it, but I know I know I've seen him 4-1 with the Nagash Legion of Night list before. So he's got Nagash, who's currently at the top of the table, wrapped with 40 zombies. He's got a Vampire Lord as his general, because he's running the Spellcasting Savant as his grand strat, so he just has to keep that one Vampire Lord alive. A Corpse Cart for +1 casting. And then he's got a second Vampire Lord who's got the Morbig's Claw for +2 to cast, and he's got Merciless Blizzard on it. And then to round out the list, he's got a unit of 20 zombies in the grave. And then behind that building at the top middle of the screen, there's a unit of 6 Felbats, and then a unit of 3 Felbats all the way to the right. Now, it sounds kind of weird to reinforce a Felbat unit and then just have like a reinforced 40-man zombie unit, but this allows them to get down to a 1-drop in 1 battle regiment, because Nagash is filling up that commander slot. He's got his 2 sub-commanders and his Vampire Lords, and then the troop slots are all filled with 40 zombies, 20 zombies, 6 bats, 3 bats, and a Corpse Cart. Any more than that, and he's looking at 2, 3 drops, and when you're running a big piece like Nagash, you really want to control that turn 1. So that way, if you're playing against something like KO that might potentially be able to reach out, you can try to avoid getting them double turned by that. You could also dictate in this matchup having this melee army of Gargants go first, so that way there's no risk of them getting all the way into you, because no matter what you do to this turn at the bottom of 1, that you only have to then react to 1 turn. Right? Because he's going to go, we're going to have a priority roll, and if Suns go first next, so be it. Leo can set himself in a position that Suns won't be able to accomplish much next turn either, and then he'll be able to react to that bottom of 2. So, Leo, not new to Nagash at all, plays a lot of games, swears by him, so it's going to be very exciting to see what he does with this Nagash. He does have a heroic action here to be able to teleport his Vampire Lord with Morbig's Claw. So we'll find out where that's popping up at. We're into the spellcasting phase. He's got expand the Corpse Empire, so he's going to be looking to just control 2 of these objectives with summonable units and vampires. Throwing out the Umbral Spell Portal right out into the middle of the table. So he has here comes Malevolent Maelstrom. So every time, Malevolent Maelstrom starts with a 1 die next to it. Every time you cast a spell within 12, or a model is slain within 12, you add 1 to the die roll. At the end of the phase, if it's at 6, it explodes and does mortal wounds to everything, especially within 12 inches of it. So what he's going to do is he's going to cast a whole bunch of spells. It's going to get ramped up to 6. At the end of the hero phase, it's first going to move through the spell portal into range of those Mega Gargants. Then it will explode and do D3 mortal wounds to one of them, but then a flat 3 mortal wounds to the other one, because the other one is an arcane tome as a wizard. So the Maelstrom hits it for the max 3 damage. And it looks like with the hand wave, this is likely the Spirit Gale going off on a 10. So it'll be 1 mortal wound to everything on the table. So already, all of the wound counters coming out. Everything just taking a mortal wound.
Welcome to chat, Sean Clark, Captain America himself. Sean is a big fan of OBR, seen him play a lot of times, which is why we are avoiding putting OBR on stream all day long if we can help. We'll likely see a lot of OBR
End of tomorrow and into Sunday.
as we get to closer to that top 8 and, into that top 20 at the end of tomorrow. So we're expecting quite a few OBR players to make it up there. And we're trying to make sure we have a good spread of games over all 8 rounds. So trying to make sure we have quite a bit of variety. Not saying that Sons of Behemoth can't make it up there. Chris Schelling is here rocking Sons of Behemoth. And he has, I think he's gone 5-0 with Sons in the past.
A very technical Gargant player. Probably
Best Gargant player I've seen personally.
and a man of absolutely many words.
You'll get a grunt and a nod out of him and a mm-hmm. Oh, Sean's coming out. Looking forward to seeing you tonight. I am wearing the World Jersey from last year, representing Team America here today from behind the caster desk. And quite a few Team America veteran players here in attendance too. Gavin's here playing OBR. Tom Guan menacing with his zombies everywhere. Anthony Lawrence, veteran Team America player, running Slanesh. Noah is playing Beast of Chaos here. Yeah, Chris Schelling here, repping the Mega Guardians. He's running his secret tech now, the Rabble Rouser Regiment of Renown. Maybe we'll see him on stream tomorrow. The new Regiment of Renown gives him a tricky little tool. It gives him a lot more extra bodies on table, which is, Gargant players not used to all these other additional models. What do we do with this? It's more than 6. I can't count that high. But he's elected to go that route, and also allows some extra movement shenanigans from his Gargants. No, not this game. This game we have Jason Acosta running Sons of Behemoth. There were quite a lot of interesting matchups for this round 2 bracket, but trying to avoid any player that was in an invitational yesterday, is we think that they're probably going to go deep, and we might end up streaming them tomorrow depending on their matchups. So trying to avoid people having to play multiple times on stream if we can help it. So already have kind of a no-go list of players that we just I want to avoid day 1 if we can help it. Understanding that these are players we generally expect to be competing for that top 8 cutoff. And if they hit that top 8 cutoff, they might end up on stream for multiple games then. This is table number 4, I believe. It's Leo Routinen versus Jason Acosta. So, kind of two symbolists in terms of bodies, but I think we're going to see a lot of technical play come out here. So here comes the Maelstrom, popping through. It's going to clip both those Gargants. He's seeing if he can potentially hit Broad with it.
So he's rolling D3 mortal wounds, rolls the 3 mortal wounds on the 1. The second Gatebreaker will just take a flat 3 mortal wounds because it's got the Arcane Tome, so he's a wizard. And then the Maelstrom will disappear. Maelstrom is only 30 points, and it is one of the best spells, especially if you got a lot of casting. You can ramp that up, sling it through a spell portal, and just hit numerous units for D3 to just 3 mortal wounds. And then the best part is it just goes away. So that way next turn, you can just recast it. So, end of the hero phase has happened, so we're getting into the movement phase. What Leo's doing, understanding that we're going into priority roll next, he's measuring out all of the threat ranges from his opponent. So you saw he measured out from where King Broad is to how far he can get over. He knows that these Gatebreakers right in the middle are a threat no matter what. But he does have 40 zombies, and as long as the zombies are wholly within 12 in the gash, they do have a 5-up ward save. So the zombies are going to be very durable and resilient. And all Leo's doing right now is setting up so that way he can score his points. And that way, if his opponent wins priority and decides to take top of 2, he's in position that he's not going to lose anything. But it also means that if the Sons of Behemoth player wins priority, he might easily just give it away. You know, understanding that there's not a whole lot that the Gargants can accomplish with a top of 2 turn coming up. And I'm curious to see if Nagash moves within 18 of these Gargants to set up for some potential spellcasting debuffs, because you've got Waste Away and Fading Vigor, which are huge melee debuffs that you can throw out in their 18-inch range. And I think what he's going to try doing is moving Nagash in, so that way he's within 18 of these Gargants. So if the Gargant player wins priority, he's going to have to debate whether giving it to Leo, who's then going to be able to just throw all of these debuffs up, or taking it and seeing if he can make anything work here. It's going to be a real tough call either way. Either way, I think Leo is in phenomenal position right now.
I think this is honestly
Now he's measuring out. He's got 6 spell bats behind that building right there. He's going to run them. Looks like he's just going to come in there, fill in the gap, make sure he's within 3 of his Vampire Lord back there, so he's got Lookout Sir on it. So the Vampire Lord won't be able to get shot at from more than 12 inches away now. Another unit of 3 Fellbats up in the top right of your screen. Not a whole lot that they're going to do this game, but he's just going to keep them back. There are some potential battle tactics that they're going to come in and look to achieve. You can get the Surround and Destroy one, where you've got 3 units wholly within 6 of table edges. Use them for that. You can even just yeet them into something and have them die for Callous Overlords. Just have a summonable unit that's not in combat just die that turn. And then here we go, the other 20-man unit of zombies coming out of the grave. He's expanding the Corpse Empire, so he needs to control 2 objectives with summonable or vampire units at the end of this turn, using that other 20-man unit to pop out of the grave over there, outnumber that little man crusher on that side. And Leo will pick up a 3-point turn. This mission does score a bit differently than your standard battle plan. We're playing Geomatic Pulse. Your territories are 11 inches up from the top and the bottom, so everybody's pretty much getting wholly outside their territory soon, which opens up even more battle tactics. They're easy to accomplish. And the players score victory points as follows. So they score 1 point if they control at least 1 objective. Boom, in the bag. Leo's got that. His opponent had that round 1. Now, the only reason this could be a 3-1 game right now is because the rest of the objective scoring doesn't start until turn 2. So at the start of the second battle round, the players taking second turn picks either objective A or B, so the one all the way on the left or the right, to be the pulse. And that one will be worth 2 points, and then objectives adjacent to the pulse are worth 1 point each. So I think Leo really wants to be able to give away priority here and make the left-hand objective the pulse, just because the escape breakers are all the way on the other side. Suns would prefer that the objective all the way on the right side is the active pulse, which is going to be a huge issue for Leo because he won't be able to score those 2 points. There's no way he's going to go claim that objective without putting himself in a really bad position. But score after 1 is 3-1. Nothing dead yet. A couple wounds thrown out on all of the Gargants so far from Spirit Gales, Malevolent Maelstroms. Very slow technical game, and we're going to get into round 2 very shortly here.
And I'll get the updates on the pulse from the table in just a minute.
So, Sons of Bahamut have activated the objective all the way to the right, where all of their bodies are. So Leo's having to take top of 2 here. He does have the play where he is using the heroic action to teleport his Vampire Lord 9 inches from that Man Crusher. That Vampire Lord does have Morbig's Claw, so he'll be able to give himself a +2 to casting, and potentially will be able to cast Merciless Blizzard and remove this Man Crusher Gargant in one go. However, I don't think either player got Primal Dice. They both failed those rolls, so he's just looking for a Hail Mary on a 2d6 +2 cast. We'll see if he's able to make it happen. If that cast does go off, he'll be able to remove that Man Crusher. Leo also telling me that I am an idiot. I moved outside of my Umbral Spell Portal. So you'll see Nagash did move too far. He needs to be within an inch to be able to cast through it. So Spell Portal not going to be as effective this turn. But we'll still see the Maelstrom come out. And then he will likely wait until next turn, when it's the Gargant player's turn, to then dispel it with Nagash. He just rolled on 11 to cast. Although, need to get an update, it might not have been the Blizzard. So I'm not quite sure what he cast then. I believe that was a Hoarfrost on the zombies, because they are now on I think a 1 to hit. Yes, that was indeed. He's got Hoarfrost on his general there, and then rolled a 1 for the hit value. So all of the zombies now hitting on 1s. Obviously 1s are automatic failures, so they'll be hitting on 2-ups. He's going to be looking to throw out plenty of debuffs. His opponent holding on to his unbinds as long as he can, hoping to stop things like Waste Away, Fading Vigor. Another Spirit Gale coming out, hitting everything on the table with the wound. So checking the range, making sure he's within 18, because he's got Waste Away, which is -1 damage, -1 to wound rolls, and he also has Fading Vigor, which is -1 to attack profiles. So close to a miscast. He's rolled 3. He's +3 from Nagash's worst roll. Not sure what spell that was. Oh no!
That is a miscast. That is huge. And he fails all of his ward saves.
Nagash is done casting. I don't think he got any of the debuffs he needed up, which is massive. And now here comes the Blizzard. All the 11 +2 as a 13. But did have a Primal die, so he's cranked that up to a 17 on a Merciless Blizzard. His opponent knowing he needs to unbind this to keep that Gargant alive. Here we go, 46 mortal wounds into that Mega Gargant on the right side of your screen. The dirtiest of snowballs. Oh, that's so low. It looked like only 8 mortal wounds. Only 8 mortal wounds, and Leo's going to take 3d3 mortals. Because every one on that Blizzard is going to be D3 mortals that the caster cannot negate. And he's just picking them up. He knows it's just dead. He just picked up that Vampire Lord. Almost everything going wrong here for Leo. The miscast by Nagash before he gets all of the debuffs up. The 8 mortal wounds on the Blizzard and then blowing himself up. Malevolent Maelstrom only on 3. Doesn't even get to explode it. That Gargant, though, is on Death's Door. I believe he's taken 8 here. He's been hit with Spirit Gale twice. And if I recall, the Man Crushers only have 12 wounds. So Leo's checking to see, because he does have 3 Fellbats up there. He's checking to see potentially about sending in 3 Fellbats. Fellbats do 2 damage each. Curious to see, though, if he's going to risk the possible redeploy by that Gargant, though. He might be measuring just to stay outside of 9, prevent the redeploy, and just go for a 9-inch charge. I'm not sure exactly who won the priority there. I walked over to double check, and all I knew is Leo was going first. And that the active pulse is on the right side of our screen where that Man Crusher is, right in front of King Broad. Leo's battle tactic this turn is Intimidate the Invaders, so just have more units wholly outside his territory than inside. Territories are 11 inches up the table, so easily going to achieve that. He's absolutely going to hold 1 objective, so minimum 3 points this turn. But he would have really liked to have killed that Man Crusher Gargant and taken that objective all the way on the right side for another 2. So he might get held to 3 points. So Sons of Bahamut will minimum score 4 points, because they'll have the G-Manic Pulse, it's active. He's already going to have the one adjacent to it for an additional point. And if he controls an objective, he gets a point. Yeah, I feel like Gargant's won the role. Leo was very set up in order to just give it away because Leo really wanted to activate the objective on the left-hand side. Like, I don't see any reason that either of these players wanted to go first here. They were both set up to just give it away. Curious to see what Leo's plan is now. He did not get enough accomplished in his hero phase. Anytime you have Nagash, you need to get a very productive hero phase, and probably one of the worst hero phases he could have ever asked for. Absolutely rough. That Vampire Lord teleporting over to that right side, looking to go Oppenheimer on the Man Crusher, and instead found himself in the Hindenburg. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the stream. This is round 2 coverage of the Nova Open AoS GT. This is round 2 of 8. That's right. If this isn't enough Warhammer for you, and I hope this is not enough Warhammer for you, we still have 6 more games of coverage this weekend. We'll have 1 more game today, 3 tomorrow, and we're wrapping it up with the semifinal and final live on this stream on Sunday. So if you're not physically here at Nova Open, you should be here on the stream, checking it out, getting envious. Why aren't you here at Nova? And making your plans to get here next year. Nova outgrew its old hotel venue, and this year, first year ever, it's moved into the Washington Hilton. Massive, massive event space. Tons of different seminars. You can even play other game systems. We have a narrative event going on too here for AoS. I'm hoping to get one of the TOs in the narrative over here to give us some insight, tell us what's going on the narrative side. Yesterday there was doubles, there's an RTT, and there's also a 16-player invitational. We do have some of those games up on this channel. We covered round 2, round 3, and round 4. All of them great games, although I think my favorite games were round 2 and 3 yesterday. We had Caleb Walters, the winner of Nova last year, facing off against Math Mallow from the UK, now in Netherlands. It was Deech versus Sylvaneth in the most non-meta matchup ever, but amazing play by both players. That game went down to the wire. Immediately followed that up with a game that nobody expected to be close, which is Tom Guan's 140 Zombie Menace versus Krulboys, which traditionally struggle in dealing high volumes of damage. But Jacob Brennan surprised everyone and almost pulled out a W. That game was so close. You should definitely check it out to see. If you're a Krulboys fan, that is a game to watch. All of our players from yesterday's Invitational now currently playing their round 2 games. Scooter played Isaiah round 1 of the Invitational yesterday and has paired into him round 2 here of the GT. So they already have a rematch. We are still early into this round. Only about an hour in, and it doesn't look like a single game is concluded yet. So you love to see that all of these games are going on, that there's no No quick wins here. Everybody's playing and working for their wins. But there's quite a few amazing matchups. We got Dean Bills playing against Anthony Trentinelli. Or no, Anthony Lawrence. I believe Anthony Trentinelli was playing somebody notable. Tom Guan of the Zombies playing John Anderson, the Fish King himself. Marcella playing Noah. Tough crowd matchup right there.
Looks like Leo really wants to tie up these Gargants, so he's charged one of the Gatebreakers to prevent it from getting in onto his objectives. We'll see how much damage that Gatebreaker does. He's also sending in the bats as well. So just trying to hold up, delay him. Don't know if he's wholly within 12 for the 5-up wards though, which is my only hesitation here, because those Gargants are terrifying, so he does not have access to Inspiring Presence. Nagash already taken a couple wounds, but I think we'll see him recover himself up over the next few turns. He does have a bit of a gap though. You'll see his 40-man zombie unit is strung out towards the right, but then it just ends, and there's nothing between that terrain piece and the gash, and Suns are potentially set up for a double. So King Broad can potentially just run up a bit, charge the zombies, and pile into Nagash. And if Leo loses Nagash, it's going to be game over. Nagash is literally half of his army, and his entire concept of his army and list is built around the Supreme Lord of the Dead himself. He's already also lost his teleporting around Vampire Lord that's going to throw snowballs with the Merciless Blizzard. That's already been lost on his own turn here, rolling 3 1s on his 46 for mortal wounds. Just looks like he's trying to get as many zombies onto that objective next to the pulse as possible. Looking to get 21 bodies on there to outnumber the Gatebreaker on there, pick up the additional point, tie up the other second Gatebreaker with that 40-man unit, make sure that one's not going anywhere. And he's got the 20-man zombies all the way on the left, facing down just one little man crusher. I expect maybe Nagash might go clean up the man crusher next turn if it charges in. Both those man crushers are set up to score the surrounds battle tactic. He left one all the way in his own territory in the bottom of the screen, so it was a huge kind of pick up that Gargant all the way on that right side. That little man crusher was not killed, just because that free battle tactic is set up here for our Gargant player to achieve. Unfortunate turn events for Leo, but Leo was able to pick up a 2-point lead after turn 1, since Sons of the Hammock did forego a battle tactic. They just chose magical dominance, which is not possible to achieve with his list. And here we just have a ton of attacks going into that Gatebreaker. Those zombies were Hoarfrosted, so they were hitting on 2, so a lot of dice converting here. The Vampire Lord with them also gives them +1 to their attack characteristics, so you got 3 attacks, looking for 2s to hit with the Hoarfrost on them, and then 4s to wound, but there's no rend on there. But just the volume of dice, still able to chip away wounds off of anything. So we'll see how much damage this Gatebreaker is able to swing back into these zombies, which are effectively just on 5 upwards from the gash being nearby.
So every zombie that does die in combat does splash back a mortal wound on a 5-up. Hopefully everybody's enjoying themselves. We're still in top of turn 2. Leo Routenan's Legion of Night. He scooped a Gatebreaker. He just scooped a Gatebreaker. Already. One Gargant going down. I'm going to check with the table. I want to see where all of that damage came from. That is massive. Quick update from the table. So turn 1, what Leo did was he had teleported the Vampire Lord up and hit a Merciless Blizzard onto that one Gatebreaker, and then with the spell portal actually threw Vile Transference through. And that one Gatebreaker had taken 33 mortal wounds from the Merciless Blizzard and the Vile Transference on turn 1, so it had 2 wounds left. So those zombies that were Hoarfrosted with hitting on 2s were able to quickly finish it off as it only had 2 wounds left. Absolutely massive. So Leo able to pick up 4 points this turn. Got Intimidate Invaders having more outside of his territory. Able to score 1 point for holding objective, which you see kind of Nagash towing in there. Also an additional point for having the objective next to the active pulse. So the pulse right now is all the way to the objective to the right. I might go see if I can put a token on it just so we can have reference. Alright. Got a little token there on the active pulse all the way on the right hand side. So score is currently 7-1, but it is now Sons of Bahamut, turn 2, bottom of 2, and Sons should easily pick up just 3 points automatically for the mission because they have the prime objective where that pulse is, so that's 2 points for that, and they should be able to pick up one of these other objectives, doesn't matter where it is, so they get at least 3 points from the primary. Looks like he is doing Surround and Destroy. He's already set up to achieve that. He's got all 3 of his Man Crushers in position, one on the left, one on the right, both wholly outside of his territory, all 3 of them wholly within 6 of 3 different table edges. Boom, achieved. The only question is, that Man Crusher all the way on the right side of your screen only has like 2 wounds left. And so the question is, does he send it into the Fellbats? try to kill the Fellbats, I would say that's a bad idea. Because if you don't kill those Fellbats do have a Ren 1-2 damage. So if he fails a single save on that Man Crusher, it's dead.
Failed battle tactic.
Leo
Had a massive turn 1 hero phase, getting that 33 mortal wounds out on one of the Gatebreakers, bringing out 2 wounds left, which he absolutely needed because his turn 2 hero phase was an absolute disaster with a miscast on the Gash halfway through, as well as the Merciless Blizzard backfiring, only doing 8 wounds and then killing the Vampire Lord. So, still very cool looking list.
The Gargant's essentially just with 2 things to do in the hero phase. Cast Mystic Shield with the 1 Gatebreaker, and then cast a pair of King Broad. Leo did try to heroic recovery it in the Gash. Rolled too high, did not heal. You have to
Equal or lower than your bravery. So we have Mike Vaginos coming over. Any
this game
updates
going?
on the field? This game was kind of wild. Essentially, what happened
Yeah.
was Leo forced Gargants to go top of 1.
Okay.
Accomplished nothing. They knew it.
Sure.
Scored 1 point.
Did you catch what Gareth said?
Yes.
What did he say?
I'm on camera right now. I'll tell you later.
Leo was able to then, on turn 1, teleport the Vampire Lord, and in between Merciless Blizzard and a Vile Transference to a Spell Portal, put 33 mortal wounds on one of the Gatebreakers.
Okay.
Which I missed. I saw some damage, but I didn't realize what was going on.
Yeah.
And Sun's win prior on turn 2 force Leo to go first with his Legion of Night Nagash list.
Okay.
Activates the objective all the way to the right,
Okay.
which firmly in the hands of the opponent.
Yep.
Nagash miscast halfway through.
Oh no.
The Vampire Lord teleports over, throws out a Blizzard. Only does 8 mortal wounds, rolls 3 1s, and kills himself.
Oh my god.
Looked like an absolute disaster.
That's funny.
But the other little Vampire Lord
Yeah.
gets Hoarfrost off on the zombies, so they're hitting on 2s.
That's pretty good.
Finishes off the Gargant that only had 2 wounds left.
Oh my god.
So Leo picks up 4 points. He's ahead 7-1, but
Brutal.
His opponent here likely scoring at least 5 points. He's already set up for his battle tactic. He's going to score the pulse on the one side, and he's potentially going to score a second point somewhere around here. There's a lot of zombies on the board. So that's this game in a nutshell.
Brutal. Did I hear you right? Did you say Nagash casted a Blizzard, and then what did he throw through the spell portal?
He had a little Vampire Lord on foot, and it's Leash of the Night, so you can teleport
That's right,
with a
okay.
heroic action.
Gotcha. I like
And
that.
Morbeg's Claw for +2 to cast.
Nice. Okay.
Throws out the Blizzard.
Yeah.
Between that Blizzard and the spell portal being able to extend the range of Vile Transference,
Oh,
the
that's
combination
okay.
of those two offense spells did 33 mortal wounds
Jeez.
to a giant.
That's brutal.
Any updates around the Hall from you?
So let's see here. We've got John Anderson and Tom Guan playing right now. So that is kind of a slugfest. Our head judge may have influenced the game a little bit by offering John a pretty bold strategy of like, have you just tried tabling it? And I don't know if anyone's thought about that yet, but I thought that was a pretty brilliant idea.
I didn't even think about that.
I know. If you just kill the opponent's army, they can't win.
Oh, but
So.
but all the zombies come back, so he needs to table them twice.
Double table. Yeah, which I don't think he's going to be able to do. So we'll see about that. But that's a slug of a game going on right now. We've got Basil and Tom Ling playing. That's pretty close.
There's a couple tough god matches because there's that. There's also Noah Marcella.
Yep, and we've got Brett and Nick True playing. So there's a lot of TC self-violence. So we're very upset in the family right now.
Is any threat of the club just imploding from all of this?
I don't think so. We all love playing each other. It's all good. So, and then you've got, what was another couple games I was looking out for? Dean Bills and Anthony Lawrence is a really tight game. Jacob Brandon and Joe Shoemaker, again, looks very close.
Oh, yeah. Oric on Oric action over there.
Well, it's Cruel Boys and Big Wasp specifically. Both of them know exactly what they want to do with their other units because they're basically playing with the same units.
Yeah, Joe Shoemaker also has played a lot of Big Wall. He loves his orcs.
Oh, yeah.
So, 2 very experienced orc players.
Yeah, so that should be pretty good. You've got, what is it, Anthony Trentinelli with his Feck playing Michael Sabetti with his Starborn. Anthony did get the double, so he is all up in the Starborn right now.
He's feasting, huh?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. He's got.
Is it a grand feast day or just?
We won't know until I go back over there. And again, like Anthony's dragon or his Terrorgeist, whatever the hell they're called in that army, has a real habit of never getting the mortal wounds on the bites. So we'll see. He still has to get.
Just roll 6s.
It sounds so easy until you really try. But so he's in a good position. We'll just see if the dice favor him. There is Bob Paisano and Jake playing a Gargant off, which I think Chris Schelling played a Gargant mirror match on that same table round 1. So I think that table's just drawing most of the Gargants in the room to it. Don't know why yet.
Perhaps our Gargant player this round will end up on that table next one.
That'd be fun. And hopefully they'll play a mirror match again, because now it's just tradition, and you don't mess with that.
Bob has the most unique, widest range of Gargants in his list.
He's got a little bit of everything.
Entire 1 War Scroll in his list. Just 4 Gatebreakers.
Well, look, I mean, Bob's getting up there in age. I can respect not wanting to memorize too many things. I'll memorize one thing, and that's it. I mean, I've been known to spam a unit once or twice. So.
We love Bob. He's I think he had his 60th birthday bash.
Yeah. He's a legend. Absolute legend. So, yeah, the field's going pretty good. Like I said, we passed kind of like the hour mark of the first round, so the games are actually really starting to pick up. Most people are in turn 2, 3 or so. There are a couple games that are a little behind, but it's usually like the Starborn mirror matches, maybe some Death mirror matches, where there's just so much going on the first turn. You expect them to be a little behind early on, but they'll make that time up for sure. So, that's all I got for the field.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, heading out.
Anything else?
I'm
Heading
good.
out?
Heading out.
Thank you so much. Feel free to provide us updates. That was Mike Vaginos, one of our TOs here. TO from our Invitational from yesterday. And you can watch those Invitational games on this channel. We did record a couple live here. We do have some impact hits coming out from these Gargants as they charge. So these Gargants, as they charge on a 2-up, will do D6 mortal wounds to these zombie units. Since they are not melee attacks, the zombies do not get to splashback mortal wounds. Sons vs. Sons would be a hilarious match to watch. Just Gargants being suplexed into each other. So, we'll see if he potentially goes for Nagash suplex this game. I'm assuming not, but it would be pretty funny to watch that one. Looks like he has elected just to go with the Gatebreaker. Don't see King Broad charging in there. Looks like he's going to be content to just control the active objective, the pulse all the way to the right, and the objective next to it. Pick up 4, 5, 6 point turn. So you'll have the pulse objective for 2, the adjacent one for 1, and then the criteria on the other end is to just control an objective. So we'll get 4 points from there, and he's got his battle tactic in the bag for 6 points. We're just going to tie us up at 7-7 after 2 whole rounds, and we'll go into a priority. Leo measuring to see can he pile in these zombies to potentially tag King Broad in combat. If he does, it's massive, because then he'll be able to dictate what King Broad's options are. I think he might be looking to just stay just out of range and not take the extra swings. These zombies are Hoarfrosted though, so he did roll a 1 to set their hit profile to. One's to hit, always a miss. So any hits on a 2-up with these zombies are going to hit, and then they wound on 4s. So he's going to be able to convert a lot of these attacks, force a lot of saves here. Mega Gargant's going to be on just a base 4-up save, so potentially looking to get quite a few wounds through from just a little zombie damage going in.
But it's not.
There you go. Wounding on 4s.
We down.
Like he's rolling all his hits first. It's quite a lot of attacks. You got the Vampire Lord there, giving them +1 to attack, so it's 3 attacks from each zombie, hitting on 2s due to the Hoarfrost. And since zombies are on the smallest of base sizes, 25 mil bases with 1 inch reach, able to fight in those 2 ranks deep. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like 10 wounds or so taken off from a Gargant on this, because it's just going to be a lot of dice coming through.
Looks like it might be about 12 saves. So on average, about 6 wounds. Looks like he's rolling decently.
But we'll take a couple wounds from those zombies. Here's a Battle Shock. Leo did roll a 5. He's not able to Inspiring Presence them because the Mega Guardians are so terrifying that even zombies are afraid of them and can't receive the Inspiring Presence command. So we will lose a couple zombies due to Battle Shock. He's just checking the distance from the Corpse Cart because there's 6s to wound due to mortal wounds in combat. So just checking all these distances.
Wants to make sure he's holding himself his Corpse Cart. So 6 is a wound to a mortal wound, and also that he's holding within 12 in the gash, so he has a 5-up ward save.
So about an hour and a half left in this round. We're doing 3-hour rounds here. Then there'll be about a 30-minute break before round 3. So around 4:30 today, so about 2 hours from now, we'll be starting round 3 coverage. And then after that, we'll be wrapping up day 1. This is round 2 of an 8-round GT. We just saw a 6 come out for a priority roll. Leo's going to take it. The pulse moves to that second objective from the right. You see a white token on it with the Team America logo on there. That's going to be the active objective. That one is worth 2 points if you control it. If you control an adjacent objective, you'll score 1 point. So Leo's setting himself up that he wants to kill one of those Gargants on objective, probably the Gatebreaker. That'll gain control of that objective. He'll already control the one next to it for an additional point. And then likely try to put those Spellbats on the right side. It's that Lone Mound Crusher that only has 2 wounds left.
But he might kill it with a Spirit Gale. Is Tom G going 11-0 this weekend? I'm going to say no, just because he's playing 12 games this weekend. Tom Guan played all 4 rounds of the Invitational yesterday and is playing all 8 rounds of the GT this weekend. Our Invitational players did have the option of a round 1 bye, just because they did already play a few games yesterday. Tom Guan, such a maniac, after playing 4 games yesterday, decided,
I'm playing round 1. And he was here at 8 in the morning. And already from the start, Tom Guan, round 1, paired into Oliver Dempsey, captain of Team Canada. Oliver running a new take on Darzakane. No Marathi. Quite an interesting list of things. I think I saw some Doomfire Warlocks in there. Was unable to survive the zombie hordes. So Tom is currently on 5-0 so far in his Nova experience. But 1-0 in the GT right now. And he has paired into another invitational player for round 2. He's playing John Anderson. The King Shark himself is playing Tom Guan, the terror that keeps on coming with zombies. Absolute menace to society. Can anybody stop this man? Please, please, somebody defeat the zombie horde. We almost saw it yesterday, but Cruel Boys, check out round 3 coverage of our game yesterday from the Invitational. Of all things, Cruel Boys put on a show yesterday. Jacob Brandon, absolutely amazing player. Playing Cruel Boys in quite a unique way, getting very, very aggressive with some big old birds right from the start. He had Godsprack and a Kill a Boss on Corpse Ripper Vulture. And he had no reservations. He said, I need to do as much damage as possible every turn, and just sent them. And that was super close game that came down to the wire. To Leo's hero phase, already casting spells. I'm going to get an update on his battle tactic, and I'll be with you in just a moment. With his 4th cast, just cast Soul Stealer. That Gatebreaker Gargant is now on 26 wounds taken. That Gargant's just going to die this turn. We're going to see the 2nd Gatebreaker go down this turn. And he's likely going to go for that Man Crusher on the right side with the Spellbats, try to pick that up. Leo did win priority. Immediately decided to take it because he knows he's in a great position with the primary objective shifting towards the board center where his entire horde is. He knows he's being able to kill this Gatebreaker this turn. He'll basically prevent his opponent from scoring that primary objective this round. His battle tactic was the Endless Nightmare, where he has to bring back 6 or more slain models from a unit. So he's able to return 3 from Endless Legions, from being able to just bring back 3 different units, +1 if you're Holy Until the Gravesite, and then the Gash brings back 3 to every unit as well, so you can actually return 7 zombies to a unit, even if they're in combat. It's Power of Nagash, opening up that battle tactic that normally is kind of rough to achieve when you're running zombie hordes, just because you don't have that extra option to guarantee those last 2 zombies to return to a unit. You have to really depend on a rally roll. Nagash just opens up a battle tactic that they would not normally have an easy access to. Leo now running that 20-man zombie unit from the left-hand side. Deciding not to engage that Man Crusher just yet. Content with letting him just control that one objective with the Man Crusher. Give his opponent a point. It is a point differential scoring here, so every point Leo's able to deny his opponent, the better off for him in the standings. But Leo's looks like he's playing very conservative, more concerned on just making sure that he wins the game instead of trying to put himself in a risky position to put himself at risk that just possibly throwing the game. Interestingly enough, he is making room for Nagash, Supreme Lord of the Dead. I think we might see Nagash charge into this Gatebreaker to try to finish it off. I think that's a bit risky because if he charges in, he could get suplexed into King Broad. So, not quite sure that's really where he wants to be, or if he just wants to leave King Broad alone. Now running up his Vampire Lord, you see it right in the middle of the table between those objectives. Getting his corpse card up there. So his corpse card is giving both those zombie units 6 as a wound or mortal wound in addition. And yes, if you're just joining us, we have Soulblight Gravelords with Nagash. We're trying to find those wild lists here. We're digging deep into the roster, but we have an absolute pro at this, Leo Rautanen, who is a huge fan of Nagash. He's been playing him for years. No matter how good or how bad Nagash is at the time, he still insists on running him. And he's running Legion of Night, so not your traditional Vierkros that we've been seeing. I think this is a phenomenal way to play Nagash. So we've got Nagash versus a King Broad-led Sons of Bahamut. I would say King Broad-led because we do have other models as a general. He's got a Gatebreaker as a general, which has already been slain. And then there's a little teeny Vampire Lord in the middle of the table, which is Leo's general. But definitely the most unusual of all of the Soulblight lists here today is this Nagash Legion of Night list. So super excited to see this one on stream. Show off that the Soulblight Gravelords book does have more to it than just one. Points leader, the score of this game is currently 7-5. Although, still quite a bit left to play in this game, and for the overall tournament, we're only in round 2 right now, so it's looking at your top overall points, it's going to shake up so much. There's still so many games going on that it's way too early to call. It's an 8-round GT. There's a cutoff after round 5. We'll be going to a top 8 cutoff, and then all the other remaining players will be put into different pods of 8 players, and there'll be awards for best in pod as well. Leo's thinking if he wants to charge Nagash in. He did do a big, huge heads-up play where he put the Umbral Spell Portal out almost between these two Gargants, so that way he can't have Nagash get suplexed into the other Gargant. So if he wants to charge into the Gatebreaker, there's no way for the other Gatebreaker to then suplex him over into combat with King Broad. But he knows he wants to kill that Man Crusher, so elected not to charge Nagash, instead going in with the spell bats on the right side of your screen. He just needs to get one of these attacks through, because that Gatebreaker, that little Man Crusher over there, only has 2 wounds left. Spell bats doing 2 damage each at Ren 1. Here come the save rolls on the Man Crusher. I believe he has 2. There are less than 10 wounds remaining on that Gatebreaker in the middle. And it's already engaged with a ton of zombies that have +1 attack from the Vampire Lord and also do mortal wounds. And the Man Crusher has fallen to the Fellbats. He only had 2 wounds left. It took 2 wounds from 2 rounds of Spirit Gale and then 8 wounds from Merciless Blizzard earlier. So it's only sitting there with 2 wounds left. Fellbats have come in, cleaned it up. We'll likely see the Gatebreaker in the middle die to the zombies. I'm expecting after Leo's top of 3 here that we'll likely have at the start of Sons of Bahamut, bottom of 3 will likely just be King Broad and then the 2 Man Crushers left. And here we are piling the Gatebreaker into Nagash. He is swinging for the king. You come at the king, you better not miss. He's gone for the 46 mortal wounds and rolled the 4 up. 46 mortal wounds coming in Nagash. Is it going to be enough? Nagash does have a 5 up ward save. Does not look like he's done enough. Here's the words. Find out exactly how many he took. So, there are so many debuffs on that Gatebreaker between Waste Away, Fading Vigor, -1 attacks, -1 damage, -1 to wound rolls, that he had to go for the 4 up. And with the board position being like it is, there's no point in killing the zombies because they'll just come back. He needs to deal with this Nagash if he wants to claw himself back into a great board position. So he went for the 4 up to do 46 mortal wounds. He rolled a 5, so he was able to get it through. Fortunately, just did not get the spike of damage he needed on 46 damage. And after ward saves, Nagash only took 5 wounds. But Nagash going to swing back into that Gatebreaker, and we'll likely see the end of the Gatebreaker. They are rolling off to see which way it falls. Leo has won that roll off, said, not falling on me. About to see the second Gatebreaker lifted here. Leo doing a great job managing these Gatebreakers. He's removed both of them, leaving only King Broad left as his threat. Not 100% sure what they're measuring though. So Leo with max points this turn. He controls the Pulse, which is at number 3 objective marker, for 2 points. He controls an objective adjacent to it for an additional point. Actually, both objectives adjacent to it. He also controls an objective for an additional point, and he scored his battle tactic for 2 points. Max points on the board for Legion of Night. So, Sons of Bahamut in quite a bit of a hole. They're down on points. They've lost half their army, more than half now. They've lost 1,140 points and are down to just a King Broad and 2 Man Crushers, all of which have been wounded, taking wounds from Malevolent Maelstrom, from Spirit Gales. The only thing that's died so far on the Legion of Night side has been that one Vampire Lord that blew himself up with the Merciless Blizzard. And Leo just taking absolute commanding lead here. And I fully expect that he will find his tower in Nagash since he's open to King Broad right now. And if Jason has any hope in getting this game back, he's going to have to deal with Nagash. Just killing zombies is just not enough to be able to remove them from the table. They're both players reviewing the score sheet, seeing where they stand. The scoring is 1 point if you control at least one objective. So any of those objectives, you get 1 point. 2 points if you control the pulse. You also get 1 point for each objective adjacent to the pulse that you control. So that's 5 points on primary that you can potentially get picked up there. And then 2 points for battle tactic. Battle tactic by Sons of Bahamut, bottom of 3, is led into the Maelstrom. So he's going to want to charge a battle line unit and a hero. And then he's going to have to end the turn with at least one of them in combat still. So he's going to be lining King Broad up, take a swing at Nagash. There he goes, pulling out the measuring sticks. He knows he's behind right now, and he needs to make a big play if he wants to get back in. Otherwise, it's just going to be a loss for Sons of Bahamut. So he's going for the king. Taking a look around, just some quick updates. Caleb Walters, our Nova Open champion from last year, has won his round 2. Alex Cosgrove, another OBR player from the Invitational, has won his round 2. Very convincing fashion with a 20-0 on that one. Jacob Brandon, Cruel Boys, taking the W round 2. Carlong from Tough Crowd with a win. And not many games wrapped up just yet, so still quite a lot of Warhammer to go right now. So, still very much early into this event. Anything can go. Most likely a 3-point turn here for the Suns. They still control the objective all the way on the left, which will be 1 point. However, I don't see them gaining control of any other objectives. And then they'll likely get their battle tactic for 2 points, led into Maelstrom. Just has to charge a hero and a battle line unit and have one of them in combat at the end of the turn. Hope everyone's having a great time. This is round 2 of our Nova Open GT. 8 rounds of coverage. We had 4 rounds yesterday of an invitational. So it'll be 12 total games of Warhammer streamed here from Nova Open. It's about an hour 15 minutes left in this round. We'll have a 30-minute break after that. And then our round 3, the last round of today, will start at 4:30 Eastern time here. And we'll be looking to get another unusual list up here on stream before we head into day 2. So, who knows? Maybe we'll be able to get like a Night Haunt on stream. That'd be great. Not a whole lot of order outside of Seraphon represented here. I think there's 1 or 2 Deepkin. I think like 2 Daughters of Cain. Not much in the way of Stormcast. A couple Sylvaneth. We had KO on stream last round. Anthony Trentinelli, only one playing Flesh Eater Courts here. He heard somebody say that Death is really good right now, and he went, oh, okay. So he pulled out Flesh Eater Courts and didn't think to ask which Death is the meta right now. So didn't get the memo that it's OBR and Soulblight that are just dominating the tournament scene right now. Anthony Trentinelli's brother is Nate, who I've seen pop around a couple times today. He lives in the area, but is not currently playing Nova Open. Nate did get a 5-0 with Night Haunt the other weekend. I think it was about a month ago, actually. So, Night Haunt Nate, as he's known as. No matter the meta, no matter the GHB, Night Haunt Nate always playing Night Haunt. And quite possibly one of the best Night Haunt players out there. So we're currently in bottom of 3. King Broad charging in the gash. He needs magic here. He needs this to happen. And not the good kind of magic that Nagash has, or the bad kind of magic. He needs a miracle. King Broad needs to absolutely lift Nagash here if he wants to have a chance. Also charging in Man Crusher. He is fully going for the King, the Supreme Lord of the Dead. Also looking at potentially get that other Man Crusher all the way around. Leo did redeploy some zombies to screen out that Man Crusher on the left-hand side. So he just needs to survive this onslaught with King Broad. It still will only be a 3-point turn for Suns no matter what happens here. But if he's able to kill Nagash, potentially win priority, might be able to make some magic happen. First wounds going out onto Nagash. Now he's going to try to healing away. I'm going to get a quick update from the table as to what's going on. A lot of swings going on. Not clear exactly who's swinging where, what's happening. I'll be back in just a moment. So Leo did fail the roar on the King Broad, but King Broad did pop the prayer for an additional 1 rend. Leo completely unfazed. He's got Mystic Shield, Finest Hour, and he is all at defense for +3 to his save right now. So Nagash already with 3 wounds taken earlier. Leo looking completely unfazed as King Broad swings for Nagash. And he has just absolutely survived. And now piling in with the zombies. He's not afraid of that other Man Crusher in combat with him. So he's just going to activate some zombies, get some damage onto this Man Crusher. See if he can possibly pick that up before deciding to swing with Nagash into anything. If you can kill the Man Crusher with the zombies, then he'll be free to just put all of his swings from Nagash into King Broad. Otherwise, the Man Crusher does have a swing after this. And I think he wants to just put the quality of his attacks from Nagash into King Broad if he can. Man Crusher Gargants only have like a 5-up save. 12 wounds each, no word saves. So, did put a few wounds on the Man Crusher, but not enough to kill it. Man Crusher swinging now. Barlong walking by. All the way down from Canada. A couple Canadians down here this weekend. Got a couple from overseas. Owen Jackson. Math Mallows here. Also have folks from all over the U.S. Quite a few out from the West Coast. Big crowd came out from California, including The News, Aaron Newbaum, Chris Hernandez. Also got some Texans coming up. Gavin Greiger, Chris Schelling. So let me know if there's any questions in chat. We'll get some updates for you if we can. This is round 2 of 8. One more round left in today. Leo Rautanen with his Legion of Night Nagash list. Very unique list in this crowd. Facing off against Jason Acosta, Sons of Bahamut. It was 2 Gatebreakers, a King Broad, and 3 Man Crushers in this list. But Leo taking a commanding board space here. Absolutely in control of this game. He scored max points, top of 3. So we're currently bottom of 3. Jason will score, I think, just 3 points here. And it'll be a 14-7 game in favor of Legion of Night. Nagash, Supreme Lord of the Dead, Supreme Lord of the Scoring.
I just Storm Drake, even though it's one unit, one model, would I go +1 for my Con Spine, or does that kill the whole unit?
I think yes, because you kill a monster, but I'm also not a TO, so I don't want to make an official ruling for you. What's the question? So, rules question from another table. I'm currently not a TO at this event, so I'm only making recommendations to players and also advising that they seek a TO for an official ruling, as I don't want to influence a game. Even if I know it's a correct ruling, I don't want to give out any official rulings. So, wonderful TO staff here. James O'Brien organizing the event. Quite a few experienced TOs. Mike Baginos. Also have Ted Adams helping run the event. End of 3, score 14-7 going into round 4. And the pulse is now shifting to the second objective from the left, where that corpse card is. Also where Nagash is tagging it. Legendary James O'Brien just walked by with his dog. I'll tell you, there's something for everyone here. Official announcement, there's 1 hour left in the round. I don't think this game is going to need quite the full hour. Leo taking top of 4, bringing back zombies. He's able to bring back 3 from his Legion's abilities, +1 if they're holding within 12 of a grave site, and Nagash is able to return 3 models to each unit, so potentially 7 zombies from each unit are able to come back. Only unit for Leo that has died has been a Vampire Lord that blew himself up with a blizzard. He rolled 3 1s on the 4d6 for the mortal wounds, and for every 1 you roll, you have to take 3d3 mortals that you cannot ignore. There's currently just a King Broad and 2 Man Crushers left on the table for his opponent. Nagash tangoing right now with King Broad, and we're about to get into the Soul Blight hero phase where Nagash is going to start casting spells. Viral Transference has been huge this game, doing quite a few mortal wounds. So he's going to be transferring off of King Broad, weakening him down, and we could likely see not only King Broad die, but the Man Crusher next to him, and then potentially the Man Crusher on the left being either the only model left, or even could possibly be picked up if he rolls well on getting a Hoarfrost off on those zombies. And we just saw a Spirit Gale go off on a 10, which means it's going to go off twice. So, mortal wounds to everybody on the table here. You'll see Leo reaching for these red tokens he has at the top right of your screen. So every time he goes to cast a spell with Nagash, he'll put a token out on the table. Nagash gets 8 casts a turn. So he's keeping track of how many spells he casts with Nagash by just pulling a token out until he has 8 tokens out. Always good to count your spells, make sure you're not overcasting, make sure you're not undercasting. Get full value from Nagash, who's over 900 points. So that's half of his list in one model. And I think we just saw another miscast. Not a miscast. Sorry about that. So he's Vial Transferencing now, potentially on the Gargant. The Gargant is dead from the Vial Transference, and he has rolled off. About to see the little Man Crusher fall right onto the Soulblight army. So doing mortal wounds to all these zombies and the Gash. Leo getting Hoarfrost on his 40-man unit of zombies again. Setting them to hit on ones. He's electing to just auto-run that 20-man unit of zombies onto the objective. So he'll control all 4 objectives here. Already setting himself up for a 7-point turn. Deciding if he wants to run the Fellbats up, electing to run them down. He's setting up for that surround and destroy battle tactic for turn 5 to have 2 units. 3 units wholly within 6 of table edges, 2 of which are wholly outside your territory, so he'll be able to have one a table edge all the way on the bottom of the screen, potentially have his zombies or these other bats get the right side, and then one other unit somewhere else. He could use the heroic action on his Vampire Lord General to just teleport to one of the other table edges. So this is top of 4, Legion of Night Nagash, the Sons of Behemoth, with a King Broad. Only a King Broad and a Man Crusher left for Sons of Behemoth. The magical dominance of Nagash has just been picking up these Gargants. Turn 1, he did 33 mortal wounds between a Blizzard from a Vampire Lord and a Vial Transference from Nagash, and left a Gatebreaker on 2 wounds left, top of 1. Or actually bottom of 1, sorry. The Gargants had top of 1. And were held to just 1 point as they didn't want to engage yet.
Don't want to understand the game.
So I'm predicting that we'll likely see the demise of King Broad this turn, but we'll see. Go get a quick update on the table.
No, these guys went. I just never caught it. Because remember asking if I So I hold one, I hold the side toss, only another one, and then I go without technical full. Right? I believe that's what it is.
Zombies doing 3 mortal wounds and forcing 11 saves on the King Broad. Broad failing 3 of those. Has 10 wounds left on King Broad. And Nagash about to swing. Nagash already used Finest Hour last turn, but will all-out attack right here. So 10 wounds left on King Broad, who currently has Finest Hour and all defense up himself.
Oh, right, yes.
So we might see him fall.
I have to take it.
About 50 minutes left in this round. In about an hour and 20 minutes, round 3 will start. We'll have coverage of round 3 happening right here. So once this game is concluded, we'll stop the stream, but we will have another stream up available before the next round starts. Not enough to kill King Broad. The Broad lives. But he is currently on death's door. Nagash also taking quite a few wounds. I think Nagash only had about 8 left himself. King Broad swinging the gash. Getting a few wounds through. Could potentially kill him. So Nagash was able to Prison of Grief on King Broad, so he does have Fight Last on him, which is why he was able to swing with his zombies and Nagash before King Broad was able to go. He was not able to finish off King Broad. He's now put a few more wounds back into Nagash. So Leo scoring up his turn right now. Likely another 7-point turn, giving him a massive lead. Yep. Score going into bottom of 1, or bottom of 4. It's been a long day already here. Legion of Night, 21 points. Sons of Bahamut currently sitting only on 7 at the top, or the bottom of 4. So 14-point deficit right now. I don't think there's any way for him to win this because he would have to max score this turn and next and put Legion of Night on a 0-point turn 5, which is not going to happen, unfortunately. So I think this one's already in the books. Leo absolutely going to take the win here. Because even if Suns were to max score here, Leo can just teleport his Vampire Lord to safety, secure his Grand Strat. Leo's been able to secure multiple battle tactics and his Grand Strat. He is denied a battle tactic turn 1. Both players playing it out. They are playing on the point differential, so every single point that you can score, even if you're losing, matters for your overall standings. With the top 8 cutoff, we could potentially see somebody on a 4-1 record make it into the top 8 cutoff. So, a loss here for either of these players does not put them out of the running. Jason Acosta piloting the Suns Bahamut does have an opening for the Man Crusher to make it on to that prime objective where only Nagash and a Corpse Guard are tagging. So if he's able to get in there, if he's able to finish off Nagash this turn, he'll be able to score the primary objective, score 3 points for that because he'll get 2 points for controlling the prime run, plus 1 point for just controlling unobjective. Potentially just pick up 3 points here. But unfortunately, the zombies have countercharge. So Legion of Night, Leo is able to, after another unit finishes a charge within 12, he's able to charge one of his Legion of Night units. So he's countercharged the 20 zombies off the left objective and now said, nope, I'm going to hold you to no points this turn. The power of Legion of Night. Being able to charge zombies in your opponent's turn. Absolutely deny points here. And then these zombies will be wholly within 12 in the gash for a 5-up board save. They'll be wholly within 12 of the corpse cart range. So their 6s to wound in combat will do a mortal wound in addition. This Gargant, who is yet to see combat, has already taken a couple wounds from just the Spirit Gale going off a few turns. So already a wounded Gargant charging into the gash. Not sure if these zombies will be able to finish them off, but they do have the potential to kill it off. King Broad himself has less than 10 wounds remaining. Is in combat with an almost dead Nagash, but also with 40 fully buffed zombies. We're also doing mortal wounds. So we might actually see Sons of Bahamut get tabled in their own turn due to the amount of zombies and mortal wounds that are going to come out here. And there it is. Nagash, Supreme Lord of the Dead, has been killed. Fortunately for Suns, I think that was way too late in the game for that to swing it in his favor. Still got all of these zombies. It does, however, remove the 5-up word for all of these zombies, so it'll be easier to kill. But I think these zombies are probably going to kill Broad right here. Leo doing his 12-inch measurement, make sure he's still wholly within 12 of his corpse cart, which is providing that 6s to wound to a mortal wound. Zombies also with +1 attack from the Vampire Lord, and also have Hoarfrost on them. So they're hitting on a 1-up. Ones always are a miss, so every 2-up here is going to be a hit. And in 2 ranks deep, with 3 attacks each, he's going to have at least 20 of these zombies swing in. So we're going to see at least 60 dice get swung here. We're probably at least going to see 50 hits. And they wound on 4s, but every 6 to wound is going to do a mortal wound. This should absolutely remove King Rod from the table. These zombies are absolutely juiced up. They've been working out. They didn't skip leg day. They didn't skip brain day. And here it is. Every 2-up here is going to be a hit. And he's going to be rolling this multiple times for his hits. And to make matters worse, if he kills King Broad at the end of the combat phase on a 2-up, he's going to turn Broad into a zombie. So very shortly, we're going to see a die roll to see which way Broad falls, and most likely a handshake as well. So there's the die roll. Re-rolling it. See which way Broad falls. He's going to fall, hit the corpse cart. Seeing if he hits the Vampire Lord. Which means Sons of Behemoth only have that one Man Crusher Gargant on that objective, second from the left, which is the active objective. But they are engaged with 20 zombies who are also doing mortal wounds. And that Man Crusher Gargant only has a 5-up save. So we could see that Man Crusher Gargant die this turn. He's already taken several wounds over the course of the game from being chipped away by Spirit Gale. And the zombies might just finish him off. And if they don't, there's really nothing a lone Man Crusher Gargant can do against such reckless hate. 60 zombies on the table. Leo piling in the 20 zombies. He's going for the throat here. Leo, one of the most polite gentlemen you'll ever meet. But he's not going to show any mercy here to his opponent when he swings these dice. Looks like they already rolled the dice to see if King Broad gets turned into a zombie, which he did. He put a zombie right where King Broad was. These zombies only hitting on 5s, but still doing mortal wounds on 6s to wound from the corpse cart. Only 5-up saves on those Man Crushers. Rolling these in 2 batches. The Man Crusher lives. Fortunately, I don't think that's going to be any points for Sons of Behemoth this turn. And I think we'll likely see a priority roll. If Leo wins it, I'm sure we'll see a handshake, because not really anything he can do with just that one Man Crusher. Leo rolls a 6 for priority. The objective will shift. Leo talking it out, what he can do. He's got the Fell Bats all set up for surround, for to have 3 units wholly within 6 at different table edges. So he's got one unit on the left, which is going to go towards the left, as you see. He's got the other unit at the bottom of your screen, and he's got the heroic action to teleport the Vampire Lord at the top of your screen. So that's 2 points right there. He'll have 2 points for having that primary pulse all the way on the left-hand side of your screen. He'll have the adjacent objective there for additional point. He'll control objective for additional point. So 6 point turn here for Leo. Grand Strat in the bag. He's going to end this game at 30 points. And I don't think his opponent can score any more. And I think we're going to have a 30-7 final. I don't know if his opponent was able to secure his Grand Strat of getting all 3 of King Broad's unique pairs off before he died. If that's the case, it'll be a 30-10 final score. Leo's just absolutely surrounding this Man Crusher with 60 zombies. Doesn't have a hero phase because he teleported his Vampire Lord to the edge, so no spells to cast because he's only got access to Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, and then the Hoarfrost out of range on all of those to do anything effective. So not wasting any time on those rolls. So he's just going straight into it. Charges in 40 zombies. No buffs on any of these, so they're just going to be on 2 attacks each. 5s to hit, 4s to wound. Not even a hero nearby to issue all that attack. He's just going to be fishing for 6s to wound to do mortal wounds, and he's counting them up shortly. Looks like just 4 saves off this first batch. Man Crusher still alive. Oh, looks like they're rolling off to see which way it falls. So, wrapping up round 2 here, Nova Open. We do have 1 more round of coverage left today, 3 more rounds tomorrow, and then the final 2 rounds on Sunday. We did have a 16-player invitational yesterday, 4 rounds long. 3 of those games were streamed here. Absolutely amazing games. All of the players in invitational are players you expected to meet in a final of a GT to determine a winner. So every single one of those games was essentially a GT final because they were all amazing quality players. The games that we had on stream were all very close, amazing games. Round 2 and 3, probably some of my favorite games of all time, just watching, observing. This game's going to be wrapping up shortly. It's currently 3:25 here on the East Coast. Round 3 does start at 4:30, so we'll be back in an hour and 5 minutes about for round 3. Our players are scoring it out right now. I'll get the final score before we sign off. I believe it's either a 30-7 or a 30-10 in favor of Legion of Night for Leo, taking it over Jason Acosta's Sons of Behemoth. And I'll be back in just a second.
Man, like it literally comes down to that. Because like the only time I can take him down is on the double.
King Broad did fail 2 of his prayers, rolled 1s on them, so unable to get his Grand Strat. Final score, 30-7 in favor of Legion of Night. Nagash will be back in about 1 hour from now for round 3 coverage. No idea who we'll have on stream, but we'll shake it up. Definitely not going to have any repeats of Suns or Soulblight on the next round unless we have an amazing pairing. But looking to make sure we have quite a variety on stream today. So, Grip Giants, I know, still a couple Gargant players out here. Chris Schelling tearing it up with his Gargants. So there's a notification, 30 minutes left in this round, 30-minute break, and I'll see you in about an hour. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon.